Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Lumo. My name is Shane Dice. I'm a senior sports editor at sportslumo.com. And welcome back to the channel for round 2 of what is a 20 video series that we are bringing to you. Now, the first edition of this series was when we covered England's all-time playing 11. And of course, if you want to check that out, the video is in our description. And today we're going to focus on a traditional rival of England's in the international field, that's Argentina. But before we move forward, if you're new to this channel, please do make sure to like our videos, share a few of them which you like, comment, and of course subscribe and hit the bell icon. But that being said, without further ado, let's get straight on to the topic at hand, and that's Argentina. Now, Argentina's status as one of the most successful nations in the world of football is undisputable. La Albiceleste, as they are popularly known, are two-time FIFA World Cup winners, having made 5 appearances in the final of the tournament. They've also won the Copa America a whopping 15 times, which is the most wins tied with Uruguay. Besides that, they were 1992 FIFA Confederations Cup champions as well, and have also won Olympic gold on 2 separate occasions, besides also finishing as Olympic runners-up twice. As such, the South American nation have always been a joy to watch in the international arena. Not only do they win on a strikingly regular basis, but they often do so whilst playing attractive and attacking football. Who would make an all-time playing 11 of their greatest ever players? It's a very tough question to answer given the number of legends that have worn the white and sky blue shirt over the years. And it's also a question that we're going to attempt to answer anyway. So, without further ado, let us look at what we think is the best playing 11 comprising Argentina legends. The formation here is a 4-3-3, and the goalkeeper will be Ubaldo Fillol. Now, the man that was nicknamed El Pato, or the Duck, is still a benchmark of goalkeeping greatness in Argentina, and a quick look at his career makes it pretty easy to understand why. Not only did he have a very long career, but it was also full of success at both club and international level. At club level, he's best remembered for his spell at River Plate, where he won 7 league titles with the Buenos Aires Giants. He's also remembered for playing a key part in Argentina winning their maiden World Cup in 1978, which was at home no less. Now, he could have played in the 1986 winning side too, but did not make the final squad despite playing in the World Cup qualifiers. And amusingly enough, Fillol used to wear the number 5 jersey for Argentina at one point, which is an unusual number for a goalkeeper. But this is because Argentina would assign numbers not by position, but by alphabetical order. Now, eventually he had to wear the number 1 by 1986, as FIFA said that the number 2 could only be worn by goalkeepers. And right back, we have Javier Zanetti. Now, the versatile and athletic fullback was unlucky to be part of the Argentina side when they were going through a pretty lean patch as far as success is concerned. Yet Zanetti was rarely if ever overlooked. In fact, he made 145 appearances for Argentina, making him their 3rd most capped player ever. Adept at playing on either flank, Zanetti was best known as an attacking right back and occasionally could play even in midfield. Now, his longevity and multiple trophies that he won with Italian club Inter Milan, which includes 16 in total, including 5 leagues and a Champions League, saw him become a Nerazzurri legend, and upon his retirement, his number 4 jersey was retired by the club, and he's currently their vice president. Now, amusingly, he once collaborated with Italian singer Mina in a Spanish cover of the song Parol Parol, which can be found on her album Todavia. At centre back, we have Oscar Aguirre. Now, the man who was nicknamed El Cabezon, or the big-headed one, is still considered one of the finest defenders to come from Argentina. Now, known to live up to his surname and defend in a no-nonsense and rugged manner, Aguirre formed the backbone of the side that won the World Cup in 1986 at Mexico. Argentina also won 2 Copa America trophies in 1991 and 93, with Aguirre being a key part of the defense. But besides his rough man-marking style, he was also very good in the air and could occasionally find the back of the net too. In fact, his unique attributes saw him enjoy plenty of success at club level, as he won league trophies with both Boca Juniors and River Plate. And at River, he was one of the people who won the Copa Libertadores. His one-year spell at Spanish giants Real Madrid also saw him win a La Liga title. Interestingly, he was at one point Argentina's most capped player with 97 caps, and was even called on to captain the side after Maradona was banned due to drug-related problems in 1994. The other centre-back would be Daniel Passarella. Now, Passarella is widely considered to be one of the best, if not the best defender to ever come from not just Argentina, but the continent of South America too. Now, he was the captain of the Argentina side that won their maiden World Cup in 1978. And he was also part of the 1986 World Cup winning side, albeit mostly as a squad player. Why was this the case? It was mostly down to issues with Diego Maradona, who we'll get to in a bit, and then coach Carlos Bilardo, who we'll also get to in a bit. Although Passarella is the only player to have won 2 World Cups with Argentina. Now, given the type of player he was, it's only fitting that he had this honor. He was something of an old school defender, but he could also score plenty of goals. In fact, his record of 134 goals in 451 matches remained a record for a defender until it was surpassed by Dutch defender Ronnie Koeman. Now, Passarella was an excellent leader, even being dubbed El Kaiser in reference to Franz Beckenbauer, who posed a threat in either box, and few if any have matched his unique style of play. At left back we had Silvio Marzolini. Now, it's quite rare that a player who only played 28 times for his country can be considered the best in his position. Yet that is exactly the case with Marzolini, who till date is seen as the finest left back to have pulled on the Argentina jersey. Now, Marzolini's biggest recognition came during the 1966 World Cup in England. He was named in the best playing 11 of that edition of the tournament and widely regarded as one of the best in the world in his position. He also turned out for the national team in 1962, which was prior to 1966, and at club level, he enjoyed a fair bit of success with Boca Juniors, winning 5 league titles there in his 10-year spell. Interestingly, it's worth noting that he would come back to the club as coach to win the league once again, and this time he coached a star-studded team that included Maradona and the aforementioned Riquelme. Now, in defensive midfield, we'd have Javier Mascherano. Now, Mascherano was never one of the flashiest of players you'd see, but he more than made up for his lack of style with plenty of substance. Now, the beauty of Mascherano's game lay in the fact that it was very simple. He had an excellent tactical reading of the game, and he combined that with a dogged streak and a propensity to tackle on a regular basis, which made him the perfect defensive shield of a player. However, saying that, it's also worth noting that he was an underrated passer of the ball and possessed stamina that occasionally saw him deployed as a fullback or even a more advanced midfielder. Nevertheless, it was in the holding role where El Jefecito, or the Little Chief, earned his reputation. Yet, quite stellar club career too, excelling at Liverpool and even Barcelona. Indeed, he only scored 1 goal for Barca, by the way, in 334 appearances, which was a penalty kick in a league game in 2016-17 against Osasuna. In fact, he's only ever scored 5 goals for his career, not that it mattered too much. His central midfield partner would be Sergio Batista. Now, Batista is another one who makes the list despite not playing a lot of games for Argentina. Not that he was an unknown or anything, quite the contrary. Batista was widely seen as one of the country's best midfielders in the early 80s as well as of all time. He was a particularly excellent player at Argentina's juniors, where he won 2 leagues as well as the Copa Libertadores. In fact, his choice for the club saw him get a call-up to the national team in late 1985, where he would impress to the point that he became a first-choice player for the 1986 World Cup. He ended up playing in every single game, becoming a key part of the side that would go on to win their 2nd World Cup. He also remained an integral part of the side until 1990, after which he never turned out for the national team again. Nevertheless, being a key part of a legendary side means he warrants a spot in this list. The final central midfielder we'd be covering here would be Osvaldo Ardiaz. Now, Ardiaz was a key part of the side that would go on to win the 1978 World Cup, which was hosted in Argentina. He was amusingly nicknamed Piton, or Python, by his brother, due to him possessing snake-like dribbling skills. And it was these skills that made him such a success both club and international level. Now, Ardiaz was not someone who was extremely prolific in front of goal, but he was very creative and did not hesitate to get stuck in if the situation so demanded it. Indeed, it was this combination of skills that saw him become a cult hero at Tottenham Hotspur. Ardiaz, alongside teammate Ricardo Villa, joined the English club after the 1978 World Cup and they would enjoy a fruitful 10-year spell at the club, where he would win the FA Cup in 1981. Indeed, the only reason his spell at the club ended was due to the Falklands War. Now it's time for the forwards, and this is where things get a little interesting. The first choice, of course, being Lionel Messi. Now, what is there to be said about Mr. Messi? Hasn't already been said. Because Lionel Messi, even in what is the twilight of his career, continues to bedazzle audiences around the world. And besides maybe winning a World Cup, the little boy from Rosario has taken absolutely every other trophy that is there to be won. Champions League? Check. League titles and domestic cups? Check. Club World Cups? Check. Multiple Ballon d'Or trophies? Check. However, the greatness of Messi does not solely lie in his accolades. No. The diminutive genius amazes people due to his skill in the ball, propensity to beat a man from absolutely anywhere, and score goals few would believe possible, and that too on a freakishly regular basis. Messi's accomplishments in Barcelona are so gigantic that one often feels that he is the victim of his own success. What's ordinary for him is unattainable for a large chunk of football players, even those in the prime of their careers. And while his playing career is now over, it's fair to say that he belongs comfortably among each and every legend that has ever pulled on an Argentina shirt. At left forward and playing a more central free role would be Diego Maradona. Now, while current generations of football fans debate over who was greater, whether it be Messi, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, or Kaká, in the 80s and 90s, the debate was over Maradona or Pelé. And this is despite the fact that both played in different generations and also had different playing styles. Pelé was primarily a goal scorer. He might have often played just behind a traditional striker, but it was the fact that he could find the back of the net that impressed us. And Maradona, on the other hand, well, he could do it all. Whether it be dribbling, party tricks, outrageous goals, free kicks, penalties, finesse shots, power shots, there was little that El Diego could not do. And perhaps more notably, Maradona inspired and led by example, a born leader who rallied troops not just with his words, but his actions. He's seen as instrumental to the rise of Napoli, from relegation battlers to champions of Italy. He also played for Barcelona, Boca Juniors, Argentinos Juniors, Newell's Old Boys, and he won plenty with all of them. Controversial off the pitch, but a genius on it, Maradona defined football for a whole generation, and he remains the yardstick by which Argentina fans measure greatness even after seeing certainly Messi. And lastly, we'd have Gabriel Batistuta. Now, Batistuta was nicknamed Batigol due to his propensity for regularly finding the back of the net. And now, far from being a regular poacher, he was in fact noted for being able to score from a distance, possessing an accurate volley shot, especially while on the move. In fact, he was Argentina's leading goal scorer with 54 goals in 77 matches before 2016, which is when he was surpassed by none other than Messi. He's also Argentina's leading goal scorer in World Cups, and he scored a total of 10 goals in the tournaments he played. Incredibly, he's also the only man to score a hat-trick in 2 editions of the tournament. Now, Batistuta's eye for goal was notable not just for his country but for clubs too. He won titles at Argentinos Juniors, Boca Juniors, and River Plate before moving to Fiorentina in Italy. And with them, he was at his prolific best. He scored 167 goals over the course of 9 seasons at the club. And he remains a Viola and Albiceleste legend. So for the manager, it would be Carlos Bilardo. Now, Bilardo was known for his tactical acumen even in his playing days at Estudiantes, so it was little surprise when he went on to become their manager. And his first spell at the club was mixed, as he twice failed to win the Copa Libertadores. However, his second style, where he played attacking football, caught the eye of many, including the media and the top brass of the Argentine Football Association. He became manager of the national side in 1983 and remained there until 1990. He notably won the 1986 World Cup and also did the same almost 4 years later, but had to settle for a runners-up position. Still, his influence on the world of coaching remains undeniable. He was even named the 29th greatest manager of all time in a 2013 World Soccer list. And right here, we can see the formation in which this particular Argentina team of legends will be lining up. They will be in a compact 4-3-3 formation that offers defensive solidity, bodies in midfield, and plenty of creativity up front. Thank you much for joining us. If you like what it is we do and enjoyed this particular video, don't forget to like, comment, share it, And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as tap in the bell icon just so you know exactly when it is that we upload a new video and you can be among the first people to enjoy it. And of course, don't ever forget that if you want some of the best sporting coverage around the world, look no further than Sports Lupo.